Hey guys, Jingo's here. So, doing another top 10. This time it's on what I consider the top 10 harem manga, um, that I've read. So, I did put some stipulations on this. Um, Basically, there had to be more than two girls that were interested in the said character. And um, there's that, and basically ones that clearly you can see and understand that they are harems, either by something in the title or starting out. You know, uh, in the back of your mind, you're kind of like, oh yeah, this is kind of like a harem, or something like the characters inside of the book actually like mention being jealous of a said character because of such and such harem. So let's get to it. I have some. Some of them I didn't include for other reasons. One of them I couldn't find in my collection. I think it's at my storage room. So, and I know that there's some other ones that I do have. I just haven't read them yet. For the harem one, hopefully that will change at some point. Nisekoi is one of them that I do have, but I haven't read it yet, so I couldn't include it, but I will put it as an honorable mention. And then I couldn't find Negima Neo, and I've never read the original one, but Negima Neo, I do know that that is a harem, and I would probably say that is probably number 10 on my list. So, starting out, yeah, that's number 10 on my list. Just because it's pretty clear that there's a harem there. You know, it doesn't take very much time to build up. That was one of the other things I looked at is how long does it take you to realize that it's a harem? And I tried to go off of if it's at least by the end of book one, starting of book two, or of that series that you kind of understood, like, hey, it's a harem. And I know we did my top 100, but that doesn't factor into this. So, anyway, we'll just go through these. So, Negima Neo, I would probably say should be higher on this list. I don't have the book or whatever, and so I'm just gonna put it at number 10. Hopefully, I can redo another one of these videos later on and get it, and then reconsider where I would put it at. But for right now, it's just gonna be at number 10. Number 9 is Tales of a Wedding Ring, which, this is one that I strongly believe that it is one of those, but you didn't really find that out till after the end of book one, starting of book two, that it was even going to revolve around being a harem. It kind of gave it away in Tales of Wedding Rings, but you just never knew. There's not enough detail in the title to actually tell you, like, hey, this is going to be a harem manga series or anything like that. And it is pretty strongly based on a harem. That was kind of another stipulation I'll include. I did include in it is how many girls were interested in the person or will be interested in the person. And so the stipulation with that, it was as long as there's more than two. So 3 or more kind of put it as a harem, but kind of all in the same timeline too. I didn't include other ones like where it was like they went from one girl and then later on to another one or anything, in the same book. That's just different timeline stuff. But yeah, this one is number 9 on my harem list. You've probably seen it since it's one of my favorites on being on my list. But it is pretty good. It does have kind of that little raunchiness for the characters liking the main um, guy and whatnot, but I feel like it's pretty comical and still adventurous and straightforward. So, but yeah, starting out, you couldn't really tell if this was going to be a harem one or not. Usually in the first chapter, something you kind of get the hint of doing that. This one didn't really do that till the very end to the first book or the second book starting. So anyway, that's number 9. Number 10, I would have to go with this one, Holy Corpse Rising. Just because this one, you don't really see it coming, turning into that until basically the end of book 1. Again, starting in book 2, and even there's only 2 of them, and so then you kind of get into the end of book 2, going into book 3, and there's a third person that is considered the wife of the main character. So that was kind of one of the ones that you couldn't really put in there just yet until you got to book 2. Didn't really indicate anything until the end of this one, book 1. But even after that point, it could have went to a different direction. You know, they could have done some kind of ritual that was basically like a divorce or something else like that. But the main character is basically puts a wedding ring to summon one of these witches, thus them being his bride, and then being able to turn around and save him by him giving something up for their magic to be used. So, but yeah, this one didn't really do that until we got to book 3, at least with the 3 girls that are considered his wives now, and all that other stuff. So, moving forward from there, we will be seeing ones that are more generic, ones that you can automatically say, oh yeah, that's a harem. So, let's see. I would have to say that 12 Beast is one of my other harem ones that I consider. This one started out slow, like I said, kind of you get to the end of it, and you know, then you find out about another one, and then you know, it kind of goes on from there. So you don't really just get to jump into it and know that it's going to be a harem one until you get past, you know, basically into the second book too. So all these ones are kind of the same on that. It took a little while for you to understand, either at the end of book 1 or the beginning of book 2, for you to kind of get into that it could be a harem. So that one's really good though. Let's see. I would say this one, Yokai Girls, is a harem, even though it kind of starts out slow too, as there only being basically 2 girls that fancy him. You know, but he's got kind of that little sister thing, and you know, slowly he's building up like this big group of girls that are aligned to him in some way, different stuff like that. So I would have to say that this one fits with kind of the other ones. You know, it's in book 1 though, you do actually find out basically that it's a harem. I mean, even this cover, you can kind of see that there's at least 3 of the girls there, you know, and then they have them on the back too. So different stuff like that. But some of them, you know, I would say, you know, they don't lay it out just like this where you understand that. The next one I would say is Yuna and the Haunted Hot Springs. This one, you know, the main character goes into the house, sees the ghost, and then that's kind of really all of that you get to know for chapter 1. into chapter 2, you get to meet some of the other house attendants, and then you kind of understand more that it is a harem. It's laid out precisely to basically be a harem, and all that other stuff. With every girl basically in some way falling for the main character and stuff like that. In Yokai Girls, that's kind of one of the differences. Is some of them, they kind of blush over the main character, but they just don't like jump headlong into the relationship. This one pretty much does, so that's why this one was ahead of that one. Then we have Log Horizon, the West Wind Brigade. This one, I would strongly have to say it's kind of not a harem, but it is. The main character doesn't really, seem like he believes that he's in a harem. But his whole guild, except for him, are all female. And there's other characters that even say, oh my god, I wish, we had a guild like that because it's filled with girls and all this other stuff. So even though he doesn't really believe that as the main character, with a number of girls that are close to him, basically being like 8 to 10, and then going from there with the entire guild that he's in, skyrocketing probably to like 100 members or so. It's pretty crazy that they have that. So that's the next one on there. Alrighty, moving on. We have Monster Musume. This one slowly builds up where it is a harem, but they're monster girls and stuff like that. They all find something. This one is one that I would say you pretty much understand that it's a harem. He ends up meeting like his first 3 girls in this first book. So, really good, and you can tell he reminds me more of like a Tenchi Muyo kind of guy over a bunch of these other characters, but that's one of the reasons why I like this guy a lot. Then the next one, I'm going to tell y'all real quick. The reason why number one is the amount of girls that are in the harem, basically, or the possible harem. So that also branching out from where it is. I'll go over that more when I get to that one. But number 2, I would have to say, is one of my favorite ones, one of the bigger ones, which is Sekirei. This one has a lot. The main character basically has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 girls, basically, that are in his harem, or 5.5, depending on how you count that. But yeah, and I mean, this one does have fan service and all that other stuff, but you can clearly tell, especially when for them to have their powers, there's kissing in it, all this other stuff. So that's kind of one of the reasons why this one's more intimate. The main character actually does do stuff with the girls as far as making out, talking them romantically, stuff like that. The other ones that we've done so far, you don't really have a character that does that too in depth, or too in depth as of yet. There's still hope, I would say, for Tales of Wedding Rings. He's done it with one of the girls because he grew up with her, but the other ones, he hasn't really done anything like that yet, or the other one, because book 3 hasn't come out yet. But when it does, we'll get to see how close and intimate and stuff it gets with that. And the last one, like I said, this one goes off of what's already there. There's basically 3 girls in the harem with the guy right now, but The potential for it is exponentially high, considered that from all the other ones. All the other ones we have, there's kind of a limit to it. Even in Log Horizon, there are, I think there's like 100, maybe 125 girls in the guild. So even topping that off at where it is, potentially that one, I would say, if we just went off of numbers, could rise in the ranks probably to number 2 with that. But this one that I have obviously does that. It has the potential for more. It meets the criteria of already having 3 girls that like the guy. More than that. And not only that, but Harem is also in the title. So, without further ado, is World's End Harem. And this one, basically, like I said, there's only like 5 living guys. Well, as of book 2, there's 3, but there's a potential 5. And the rest of the world is basically women. So, this one has the potential to basically have the whole world being one person's harem. If one of the guys dies off, then it would just split up more. So, it's however many people you would consider we have in the world now, which is, I don't know, isn't it like 5 or 7 or 8 billion people or something? So if half of them are male, then we'll just say it's 8 billion. That's still 4 billion women, and if one of the other guys gets killed off, that's 1 billion women for the last 4 characters that are still alive. So, and it's in the title, Harem, so that's kind of why this one took spot number 1. It met all the criteria, and it even included the numbers to back it up, and even included, like I said, the name in the title. So that's why this one basically became my number 1 for the top 10 harem, based off of all that criteria and stuff. It is a very good one, and it's spectacular, all the different stuff that they try and do to get this guy basically to have a harem, but he just doesn't really go for it. But he does fit in with some of our other characters in that he gets in those situations, but he's not really in it. So anyway, that's it. I will catch you guys later. Thanks for watching my top 10 harem manga, and I will catch you guys later, hopefully in another top 10 or top 5 video, or just a manga review or something else that I have planned. Anyway, that's it. Jen Graves signing off. Bye!